My heart is sad and lonely.
Yo.
I have for I have for I have
Yo.
for I have I have for I have for
Yo.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
Choose your fighter.
Reiki inspired.
Fight.